Hello, this is Jeremiah, and today I'm going to show you how to create 3D vines similar to the ones that Andrew Kramer did in his 3D vines tutorial. For those of you who aren't exactly familiar with what I'm talking about, here's an example, or here is the example. And you may remember that Andrew did a tutorial on how he did that. I think he used 3D Studio Max, but today we're going to show you how to do it in Blender 3D. I know there are a lot of you who wanted to know how to do it in Blender 3D, but you know, Andrew can't make a tutorial for every single 3D software. But it just so happens that you can do this to an extent in Blender 3D. So let's get started showing you how to do that. Okay, so just add a mesh cube, scale it up about that long, and then about that wide. And for those of you not familiar with scaling along the axis, if you hit S and then either do X, Y, or Z, you can scale along that axis. That also works with grabbing, rotating, rotating, scaling. So you can grab, rotate, and scale along all the three axes by hitting G or S and then X, Y, or Z. Okay, so that's good length and width. Let's do height. I'll go about right there. Let's bring it up. Delete the camera. Add a new camera. Bring it back there. Okay, now I'm going to cut the cube up into its individual faces. So just go to face select mode. I want to be sure in solid view, and then turn off your occlude background geometry. Now just grab each face and hit P to separate, and then hit selected. And I will just remove that vertex, or excuse me, that face, and we'll leave that one there because it's the object we have selected already. Okay, so we have each side is separate, and we're going to delete the one side at the front because we want to be able to see in. Let's go to camera view. Ooh, that's a little too narrow, so I'm going to move the floor up. Actually, that's okay. That was too narrow. I'm going to select the front. Let's select all of the sides like that. Just use the hit B, and you can select them all. If you hold down, if you can select B, then right click, you can unselect your lamp or any other object you do not want to scale or select, and then hit S and scale along the x-axis. That looks better. I'm also going to move my ground plane up. So now one thing, you want to make sure that the top plane is exactly level with the sides, because in my image texture I'm going to use, there's the walls fade off to black, and then the ceiling will be solid black. So that's why I want to make sure my ceiling is level with the sides. Okay, select your wall, one of your walls, and go add new, image, load, and then select your texture. I'm using one of Andrew Kramer's New York textures that he posted online for free for everyone to use on his blog. I made it to where it can be tiled. In his Vine tutorial, Andrew showed you how to do that in Photoshop. I'm not going to explain that because it's really easy to follow in his tutorial, and you can do the same thing in GIMP, which is what I did because I unfortunately do not have Photoshop yet. Okay, also over here in X repeat, set that to 5. You just hit render to get an idea what it looks like. Okay. Oh, one more thing. You need to in the map, in map input settings, you need to set it to cube. And there, that looks really good. Oh, and our light needs to be centered. Oh, that's right, our light is not centered. Okay, so let me position the light right here. Put that about right there. Okay, we have one wall. I'm going to select reflection about 0.395, specularity to about 0.211, and hardness to about 330. Let's try that. Okay, that looks okay. One thing though, we need to have we want our texture map input to be selected to NOR so that it will look bumpy. And that's not bumpy enough, so bring up the NOR to about 3.64. And also, this is a black and white image I'm using for my texture, so that will work great for the NOR. I'm going to bring it up some more. This is like concrete or something. Let's decrease the hardness and increase the specularity some more. Ooh, that's too much. Okay, hardness down, specularity. Excuse me, hardness up, specularity down. Let's go back to 0.182. Okay, I'll just stay with that. Alright, so now I'll select the other wall, and I'll add that material there. For the ceiling, I'm going to also add the material, but I'm going to go over here, down to material, the drop-down window, and I'm going to select Add New, and that will basically copy my material. And I'm going to name that Ceiling Material. But what it is when I change the properties for the ceiling, they won't be changed for the walls, because I've duplicated the images and separated it from its other material. Okay, so that's been done. Okay, so we'll turn off color. Oops. Wait. No, okay. Yeah, turn off color, and then select the color of the object mesh to black. And now, when we render that out, we also have the bumpiness on the ceiling, which looks good. Okay, so ceiling walls. The back plane, that also needs to have the wall. Let me name this. Excuse me. Name this wall material, and then we'll name the back one, the back material. We'll go Add New, and we'll call this back wall material. And we want to turn off. Oh, we need to add new texture as well, so we duplicate that. We don't want to adjust the texture settings for these walls as well, so we want to add new so that we separate them. Settings. We're going to repeat to 1 because we don't really need it repeating because the back wall isn't that big, so that looks good too. Okay, I'm also going to work on the settings for the lamp right there. I want to give it a light green. I'm going to leave. I'm not going to adjust the settings that much because I don't want to get. I want to stay focused with the vines, so I don't want to get sidetracked by having to adjust all the lights. Okay, we'll just duplicate this one, and we'll decrease the distance make the distance really small. 8, 6, 5. The color needs to be orange of this duplicated light. Move that down some more. And then duplicate it again, and this time make it yellow. And once it renders, okay, there. Let's move it over this side too. Another thing I forgot about this, need to turn off ray shadow because we don't really need shadows. So that runs a lot faster now. Okay, so that's looking really good. Now let's go for the